Okay, so this is like, I feel like this is like a weird one, kind of, because it's like, this is basically the episode of like, oh hey, this is how Yo learned a completely different fighting style, and now he can actually fight for real now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what if I fuse Amidamaru into the sword?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
He just kind of figures it out.
Yeah, because it's like, so far it's been very, like, very grounded, I guess is a way to put it. Like, as grounded as something like this can be. Where it's like, oh, I'm being possessed by, like, different things, and that's sort of like, how you fight, and then you have, like, people who have, like, different ways to put the ghost into, like, bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's like, now we're just straight up in, like, superpower territory.
Yeah. It's worth noting that he doesn't just figure it out. The guy he's fighting gives him pretty good hints how to figure it out.
Yeah. But yeah, so this episode actually starts with, like, Yo just wakes up and it turns out, hey, Ryu's just living with him now.
Yeah. He's just there.
And there's actually a good bit they kind of, like, gloss over with that, because, like, so in the manga, right, like, in the manga, it's like you have these big action sections and stuff, and you'll have, like, your chapter just, like, hanging out with the guys and, like, kind of, like, chilling out a bit to kind of, like, break up the, like, pace a bit,
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out, like, because, like, this show is, like, a very limited number of episodes to work with relatively, it's just sort of, like, shooting through a lot of that, because it's ultimately unnecessary. But it is a bit of a shame, because, like, just seeing these people hang out is kind of, like, one of the big fun things about the series. Because, like, they cut a bit where it's like, first off, like, Ryu's, like, just working at, like, Yo's house now. And they, like, kind of put, like, a weird explanation where it's, like, Yo's house is, like, actually, like, an inn they're renting.
Yeah.
So it's just, like, a random line Ryu just throws out that just flies by where it's like, oh, yeah, it's, like, an inn, right? And, I was like, yeah, I'd like to know as, like, the proprietors of an inn or something. It's just this weird little thing.
Yeah, we see that scene in this episode.
Yeah. So they cut a good bit for us, actually, because it's like, you get, like, a line that was, like, removed where, like, she's like, oh yeah, Ryu was, like, possessed by a spirit, and that, like, awakened his shaman abilities and stuff, so he can see ghosts now. And she's like, yeah, it turns out he actually has a lot of potential for this. I think he actually has more latent potential than you do, Yo. Just straight up. So it's like, okay, like, Ryu totally has the potential to be, like, a shaman. Like, he's just got the power of him, he just needs the experience.
Yeah, what's he do? It's, right, they're training or something, and he's like, alright, watch me do my thing, and then Anna just, like, wrecks him.
Yeah. Like, I think specifically it's like he tries to shove Amidamaru into him and it doesn't work. Because she's like, no, being possessed actually, like, combining with your spirit are, like, two different things, idiot.
Right.
But yeah, they caught a little bit where it's like, you see Ryu's gang just sort of shows up, and because Yo's house is like an inn, they're all like, oh yeah, we could just live here, right? Yeah, we'll do all kinds of housework and stuff. And they're like, yeah, we found our best place. And you see him, like, cutting up shrubs to look like Ryu and stuff. Just dumb crap like that, basically. There's a bit of a weird shot where you see, like, they're, like, in the bathhouse together, and, like, Ryu, like, washes his hair, and it actually, like, looks like normal hair for once. And, as soon as he comes out, it's back in, like, the cut-off pompadour shape.
Of course, because he redoes it.
Yeah. But it's like, for like a second, Ryu just looks like a normal person, and he just puts it back. Yeah, so just kind of go along, and Ryu's just like, oh yeah, I guess does stare at the stars a lot. Maybe the stars will give me some power. And everyone just sees this comet fly by in the sky. Like, conveniently to the point where Ryu tries to, like, summon a star or something.
Yeah, Ryu's just yelling at the comet, just give me powers.
Yeah. Like, he's just yelling at the sky and the comet shows up, and they count, like, a little bit where, like, Ryu's gang is just there, and they're like, oh my god, it worked. Tis but magic. Yeah. Yeah, but we get a quick exclamation of, like, what the heck the deal with this is. And it's like, okay, every 500 years, this comet just sort of digital magic. Yeah. Yeah, it's like every 500 years, this comet just actually, let me just... Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better.
It's 500.
Yeah, every 500 years, this comet just sort of, like, circles the Earth, and, like, that's the signal for the Shaman fight to start. And, like, shortly afterwards, another comet circles around, and that's, like, the signal for it to end, basically.
Yeah. And it's like... I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, they're just like, oh yeah, there's the sign we were waiting for.
Yeah, like, they mention it's, like, a symbol of destruction, and it's, like, it symbolizes some great calamity coming to the world. And, like, the Shaman King's chosen to stop it, basically. And, like, then the Shaman King becomes, like, the great savior and stuff like that, and they, like, fuse with God and everything.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, the Great Spirit is basically just straight up God.
That's what the implication is.
That's the direct implication here. So like...
yeah, after all that, Yo and Manta are just kind of hanging out at a restaurant.
Yeah, I do want to quickly bring up that we do get a bunch of shots of, like, different people who are all, like, actual contestants.
Right.
Yeah, like, I couldn't quite catch what, like, a lot of them were like, but it's like, you see a guy with, like, skeletons, and you see, like, like, some, Native American people. There's, like, some girl in, like, like a black dress who is, like, a voodoo doll. Like, I think in the manga there's just a panel of, like, some woman on, like, a motorcycle, and she has, like, a cross tattooed on her arm. But yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, these are the guys we're gonna be, like, facing. Oh, and we have straight up see Horo, but, like, you don't know who he is yet, so that's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, they're Yo and Manta are just like at a restaurant, and some guy is like, "Hey, you should. I sense whatever bull crap. You should buy my shaman, not shaman, but like my spiritual trinkets and stuff." And they're like, let's get out of here."
Yeah, like, I feel like we mentioned before that it's like the way they're introducing villains feels very JoJo-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this guy's not really a villain, or at least that's not the implication I get.
Yeah, I should probably say more antagonist than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, this dude just shows up. Just this Native American guy with, like, animal rings, and he's like, oh, hey, kid, wanna buy some trinkets? And they're like, no, we really don't. And he just shows up later on, and he's like, oh, hey, it was me from earlier. And they're like, oh, alright.
I administer a test to the shamans to see if they're worthy of participating in the tournament.
Yeah, apparently this guy looks like Phustus, presumably.
I think he's joking about like the bone decorations.
Maybe, I
Because
know.
Sketh.
Oh yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they just leave and then they're just hanging out, and this guy shows up again. He's like, "Yeah, I was following you."
Yeah. The
And he's like,
Great
"All right,
Spirit told me that I should stalk these kids.
yeah." And then he's like, "All right, I'm here to give a test to see if you could participate in the tournament. Hit me once within 10 minutes, and you're in."
Yeah. So it's like they actually cut a little bit out of this too, but not as much as you'd kind of expect.
Hmm.
Because it's like, so basically the whole deal with this guy is that his name is Silva, and he's
Mm-hmm.
just straight up like, he gives a quick explanation, like, that's kind of like cut for time in the anime. But he's very quickly like, oh yeah, I'm from the Native American Patch Tribe, and the Patch Tribe is like the overseer of the exams and stuff, so I'm here to like test your qualifications. And he's like, I'm gonna do that by making you fight me in my like 5 animal spirits that all just like cling to my body and become living weapons.
Or armor, depending.
Yeah, pretty much living armaments.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I like his powers. Every time
Yeah.
somebody shows up, and it's like, wow, Yo's powers are boring.
Yeah. Like, Yo's just sitting there like, I could be possessed by a samurai. And this guy's like, oh, that's nice. Do you have a turtle shield, though?
Let's see, he's got a bull, the bird, the turtle, uh, bull, bird, turtle. I think he's got a wolf.
Yeah, it's like a coyote.
Yeah, what's he got? Like 4 spirits.
He's got 5, because there's also like a snake.
Right, the snake. I forgot. Yeah, okay, he's got 5 spirits.
Yeah. And he's just like, I could just use these spirits to each give me some form of power. So, like, he has, like, super speed, and he, like, kicks Yo around, and then like, grabs him with the snake and, like, throws him around, and he's, like, flying around with his eagle wings and stuff. And Yo's like, damn it, all I've got is this boring samurai.
Yeah, Yo is like, wait a minute, he can physically manifest his spirits? That's crazy. And then
Yeah.
he realizes that Silva's wearing a bunch of like animal pelts and like basically bits of their body, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh, he's like infusing their souls into like the clothing and like the trinkets and stuff.
Yeah, like there's some gags that we're kind of like skipping over, like, he's like, oh, we can only like beat his spirits with our own spirit. Cause like, of course it's like it's a magical like soul like ghost shield. So like you can't just cut through it with a normal sword because it's like super powered.
Yeah. There's a funny bit where Yo like starts chanting, and it's like a chant to exorcise, make
Yeah.
his spirits go away, and it's not working. But then you see Amidamaru like floating off to heaven in the background.
Yeah, he's like screaming for Yo's help.
Yeah.
There's a bit where Yo tries to like throw a Miyamaru at him because he's like, okay, maybe a ghost can hurt a ghost. And it's like, nah, not quite.
Yeah, he just like ghost ball. He throws him, and he just flies through his body.
Yeah. Yeah, he eventually figures it out, and he's just like, oh, hey, what if I just put a Miyamaru into the sword? And he's like, Silva's just like, yeah, that's the right answer. You got this.
That's another thing. Using Ryu's body, Amidamaru and Osuke get to have a reunion. where they
Yeah.
punch each other in the face.
Yeah, I almost forgot, 'cause that's like a whole thing that they like. So it seems really weird in like the anime, cause Ryu just walks outside and is like, "Oh, don't you remember? Like we possessed you with the ghost of the blacksmith to like fix Yo's sword, or Mitamaru's sword, I guess."
I mean, he can't do anything with a real sword, anyways. It's basically Yo's.
Yeah. But yeah, that was like part of the chapter that that the anime just sort of like skipped over. Cause
Yeah.
you get that scene where Ryu like agrees to like, let the blacksmith ghost possess him to like fix the sword and make things right. Cause Ryu's very specifically like sorry to Amidamaru. Cause he's like, "Oh, I like destroyed your gravestone and I like, broke your sword and stuff, and like this'll help me make up for it," right?
Yeah. Ryu, like we established that Ryu's like a pretty cool guy in the last episode, but in
Yeah.
this one he's like full 180 to like I'm one of the good guys now.
Yeah.
Like
Like Ryu's strip, like, "Oh yeah, what, like, I've been bad to you guys, I'm gonna help out, I'm gonna, like, cook you food and stuff, and yeah, I'll just, like, we're gonna live together and be best buddies," right?
yeah, he's very like honor bound to Yo because he's like, "Oh, you stopped the ghost from making me commit suicide." And for
Yeah.
that, I'm like eternally grateful. So let me be the chef for your little inn.
Like, in the Meige straight up says, like, "Oh yeah, you saved my life."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that does make sense, actually.
So yeah, Ryu's a good guy. Not surprising at all. Although he disappears early. He disappears early in the episode, and we don't see him for the rest of it. Mainly because this is Yo's episode.
Yeah, it's Yo's episode to fight a Native American man with like 5 animal ghost spirits that turn into weapons and armor.
Yeah. Uh. Also, so Yo figures out the oversoul thing, and it's kind of lame looking.
Yeah,
It
it's
gives me Omnimon vibes.
it's very weird because it's like, so this is like something I noticed when I was like looking through the manga, because I don't know if they like changed their mind on how this works later on or whatever, but in the manga you can clearly see that it's like Yo is not actually grabbing the sword. He's just holding his hand out into the spirit, and like, Amidamaru's ghost spirit form is grabbing the sword with its mouth.
Yeah.
But in the anime, they like changed it so he's like actually grabbing the handle. And I'm not sure if that was like an oversight or if it's like, they changed their mind on how they want it to look like later on or whatever.
Either way, kind of sucks because it isn't changing much. Usually fights.
Yeah. Like, I guess that's kind of the point, because he's like, oh, now I can use the same moves and stuff, but it's like, this is still really basic feeling.
Maybe it's kind of how he hands over full power to Amidamaru without letting him like control his body.
Yeah, because it's like, because the way I understand this is like, like, you have your shaman energy and stuff and all that stuff, but it's like, if you just let the ghost possess you, then you're just like, you're just a samurai, right?
Yeah.
But if you like use your ghost's like energy as fuel for like an actual weapon, then you can still fight with a sword, but now you have a way better sword because it's like all super powered.
Yeah. It's it's kind of frustrating. I've complained about the subs before, but this episode they're particularly bad.
Yeah, this was like the subs on this one was like so bad, even I was like noticing it.
They're so jank and broken. It's just like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's like they're jank and broken while like explaining a whole new power system too.
Yeah, so I was sitting there like, all right, I gotta focus or else I'm not understand what's happening.
Yeah. Point is that, like, you put the ghost in the sword and it makes the sword better, cause, like, you're, like, putting the ghost in, like, an object to, like, boost its power, basically.
Yeah.
And you use your own energy to, like, keep that going, cause, like, yeah, you're the one, like, letting this happen. It's like, presumably, and just do this with, like, any spirit, you just have to have something that's, like, related to them, right?
Yeah.
So, like, Amidamaru has to have this specific sword to do it. But it's like, if you also had, like, an arm or something, or, like, his skull, then maybe you could do something with that, too.
Yeah, if he had like a Mitamaru's bones or something, he might like
Yeah.
maybe he could reconstruct a Mitamaru himself.
You just have, like, one of his, like, shoulder armor pads or something, then maybe you could make, like, a shield out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we're working on that type of logic, and yeah, I feel like that makes enough sense.
It follows the rules they like because Silva makes parts of the animals out of their own body parts, and so he gets like wings and like a
Yeah.
turtle shell shield and
Yeah, it's a weird thing, because the subs say he's, like, got the animal's limbs all over him, but one of them's a freaking snake. And it's like, if you look closely, you can tell he's just got, like, its jaw.
yeah, the subs probably meant to say that he's got bits of their bodies.
Yeah, like, the sub's also called, like, the feather fur. Like,
Yeah.
it's like he's got some of the eagle's fur attached to him, and it's like, what?
Yeah, it's the subs are frustrating. I guess maybe it's being machine. No, it's too good. It's too good to be machine translated. I think it's just hastily translated.
Yeah, it's probably hastily translated by someone who has English as, like, a second or third language, I feel like.
Possibly.
Because it's like, this feels like, someone who, like, knows Japanese but doesn't speak, like, fluent English. So it's kind of, like, broken and, like, words are, like, different stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
because I think when Yo is like doing the chant, there's like a translator's note thing to explain what he's saying.
yeah, which is, like, honestly, that's pretty telling, because, like, I looked into the manga, and the manga just straight up, like, translate what he's saying.
Mm.
It's like strip, like, warriors of something did it. I don't remember the whole thing, but there's like actual, like, like translations for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like Yo 5 makes his oversoul, and it's just so taxing he's already just out of breath, and he's like, gasping for air. And Silva's like, oh, impressive, okay. How about I just turn all my animals into a giant laser cannon to murder you then?
Yeah, if you fail to withstand this, then you die.
Yeah, you okay with that, yo? And he's like, yeah, sure, I guess.
Yeah, there's a whole thing, a whole spiel of it's like
So,
Yo's lazy, but he'll work hard to accomplish his goals of living a peaceful life.
yeah. Man, Silva's so cool.
Yeah.
He just
Uh,
hooks all his animal spirits together and just forms a big totem pole cannon.
yeah, that's what he calls it.
I think they call it the totem pole hoe or something.
Uh, yeah, but I'd chalk that up to bad translation.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably.
yeah, maybe it might just be called totem cannon, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the Native American roots. It's like yeah, you fuse all all the animals together in a totem pole formation, and it makes a weapon.
Yeah.
That's
Makes a
pretty.
big gun.
Yeah, it makes a big gun.
Man. Like that'd be interesting if you just like, you know, flash back to like colonialism and like, you know, you see the European settlers just with their muskets just like, oh, you know, I gotta get those Indians or whatever. And you see a Native Americans like, oh, guns, right? Okay, and they just form an oversoul.
Ah, yes, the totem cannon.
I feel like history would be very different if they had that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so he's like, yeah, if I just shoot you, you're gonna die. You okay with that? And Yo's like, sure, I guess.
I gotta win so I can be lazy.
Yeah. It's like an interesting weird thing, because they like have Anna straight up like, yo, give this thing about like, you know, essentially it's like Yo is like powerful because he's like detached. So it's like, you know, he's not set on like one goal and that's it. Like, he has like motives beyond that he like cares about.
Sure, if that's what you got out of those broken subs.
Yeah.
It's around the time that Anna starts describing all this that the subs just start dying really hard.
Yeah, it's very confusingly phrased in the version we watched. But she's very specifically like, yeah, I really don't like the hot-headed, like, yo, overly, like, excited types because they're just lying to themselves and stuff. And it's like, damn, Naruto.
Yo, it's like, yeah, yo is like honest, and it's like, yeah, he wants to win this so he can be lazy.
Yeah, I feel like that's an interesting thing to kind of, like, bring up real quick, because it's like, this manga was basically, like, running at the same time that Naruto got its, like, big start. Like, I could be wrong, but I think it's like, you know, the stuff with Takagero was, like, around the time they were starting the Zabuza arc.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know how much of this is, like, actively aimed at Naruto, and how much is just sort of, like, you know, there in the moment, right?
Yeah. Or it could
'Cause,
just be that that's just how hero Anna
yeah.
might not be it might not be taking a shot at anybody.
Yeah, might not be, but it is interesting, because both these series did run in, like, the same publication.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's not impossible, right?
Yeah.
And you also have the whole thing, because, like, I feel like Naruto's probably what, like, popularized the whole, like, you know, like, hard work versus natural talent sort of thing.
Yeah, and how Naruto's full of crap.
Yeah. Because this series is kind of like against that in a way, because it's like, oh yeah, yo, like everyone's just kind of like worked hard all their lives. It's not really like a thing that's like, oh, you're just born better or whatever. And you get to Ryu and it's like all the natural talent, and he
Yeah.
sucks.
Even Yo seems pretty naturally talented. He picks up the oversoul thing instantly, even though it
Yeah.
leaves him like tired and drained. It's just like as soon as he understands how it works,
Yeah.
he's just like, oh, done.
Yeah, because they're like, they frame this in a way where it's like, it's not that it's like skill or whatever, it's like, oh, it's intellect, yo. Are you smart enough to figure out a way to like fight like this or whatever? And he does, and it's like, okay, yeah, there you go. Good on you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I always appreciate that where it's like, yeah, you can't beat me with like early on in the fight, Yo tries to do a full like a full on assault on Silva, and it's just like, no, it doesn't work. You have to actually try and be smart to beat me.
Yeah, there's a quick, like, sort of gag they, like, cut out where it's like, where Silva's do his big attacks. Where it's like, he kicks Yo, and Yo's gonna, like, fall off the side of the cliff they're fighting on. And he's like, oh, I guess I hit you too hard. Alright, let me fix that. And he dashes over and grabs him with the snake and throws him back over.
He does that. That happens in the anime.
Yeah, but in the manga they specifically make a note where Yo's like, "Oh God, he kicked me off the cliff. I'm going to die." But yeah, so he forms with Tall Can, and he's like, "Oh yeah, stop this mother effer," and Yo manages to cut through it, and like Yo
Yeah.
manages to like cut off his headband.
Yeah. He didn't actually deal physical damage to Silva, but Silva's like, good enough.
Yeah, that's another weird thing, because, like, so in the manga, he actually scratches him.
Ah.
And I rewatched super carefully, and they just cut that out of the anime completely.
That's what I was waiting for, because he put so much of an emphasis on you physically damage me.
Yeah.
So I expected like a scratch underneath the headband, but no.
Yeah, in the manga, it's like totally what happens. Like, he turns around, and he's got like a scratch on his forehead, and he's like, "Yo, good enough."
Hmm.
And like, yeah, we get a little quick ending thing where we see what Rin's been up to.
Yeah, apparently, so when Yo beat the trial, the examiner dude gives him like a thing. It's just like, yeah, you'll get messages through this whenever we're ready, and this is how we'll communicate with you. And then he leaves.
Oh,
And we cut to
man.
Rin, and Rin's like, yeah, I just killed a guy and took his.
Yeah. Rin's just like, "Oh, I was supposed to, like, damage you, huh? Well, I guess I passed then," as he talks to a corpse.
Oh, okay. I didn't quite get the implication that was supposed to be another instructor. I thought I just found another shaman who passed and killed them.
No, like, it's another instructor, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, yo, I guess I passed then," as, like, his spear's, like, sticking out of his chest.
Yeah. I don't know. That seems like grounds for disqualification to me.
Yeah, hey, it's the nature of the test. He
I
just
guess.
did way better.
I don't know. Part of the test should also be a bit of a bit of control, but whatever.
No, we're just straight up going to allow murderers in this game. Like, unambiguous, like, criminal scumbags.
Yeah, I have a hard time imagining how Ren joins the heroes at this point. So it's like okay, Ryu didn't seem all that bad. Ren is like a terrible person.
Yeah, Red's like an actual psychopath.
Yeah.
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 I do like there's a little bit of the manga where we get like a quick page for like the instructor he killed, who is called Chrome. Cause like they're named after metals. Apparently he has like a weird dream catcher shield.
Silva, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, that's nice to know, I guess. But yeah, that's another thing, because, like, the anime completely skips over, like, a quick little scene where, like, Silva just explains what the deal with the Oracle Bell is and how it works and stuff. Just, like, I mean, honestly, like, you got, like, pretty much everything anyway, so it's kind of redundant.
Yeah.
But he's just straight up like, "Oh yeah, it's basically like a pager that's connected to the Great Spirit, and it'll just tell you, like, where to go and who you're supposed to fight and stuff. And it'll also, like, keep track of who wins the fights." So, like, basic stuff like that, really.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure what this translates to is, like, like, it'll eventually just say, like, "Oh yeah, Tokyo or whatever," and they'll be like, "I guess that's where we gotta go for this fight." And it'll, like, point out who the opponent is and stuff. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned a name earlier or something.
Sorry, you're cutting out a bit.
You mentioned a name earlier, Horo
Yeah.
something. Yeah, now I remember. I remember hearing that name because it's part of like the next episode stinger thing.
Yeah. I've probably said the name Horo before on the podcast, I'm pretty sure. But, like, with, like, no context at all. Because, like, yeah, because I definitely remember Horo, and, like, I definitely know I've been talking about Faust. And how Faust is, like, the actual coolest.
Doesn't ring a bell, so I don't know.
Oh, man. I just can't wait for us to get to Faust. That's gonna be a fun one.
Well, seemingly next episode.
Alright. Well, next episode's Horo.
Oh, Faust is a shaman, not a spirit. Okay.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
it. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
Faust is like a different shaman.
Well, a name like Faust, I can imagine what his power is.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Demons.
Interesting.
Like demons and devil contracts and such.
Yeah. Fun fact, there actually is, like, a spin-off manga where, like, Yo has a kid. It's, like, the sequel series. And, like, Yo's kid's whole thing is he just summons demons.
Ah, sick.
And he's just, like, because they're demons, they're just physical. They just fight things.
Yeah, that seems to be... The whole shaman power thing is weird because it seems to be that if you have a way to physically manifest the thing, that's the most powerful version of the shaman powers you could have. So, like, the zombie stuff is really powerful.
Yeah, like, the zombie stuff isn't specifically an oversoul, but, like, it could possibly be one if they were, like, working together.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like it's also implied that, like, Rin probably already figured out a way to, like, do it. Because, like, he just wins his, like, easily.
Yeah.
So it's like, so now we're just gonna get to the whole thing of, like, okay, like, you don't just have a thing that possesses you, you also have to have some mechanic around, like, how you use it and how you, like, get your own unique abilities out of it, right?
Yeah. How do you physically manifest your power?
Yeah, and, like, what does it do once you have that, like, set? Really? So yeah, that should be interesting, because, like, I know a good few of these, if I remember right. Because, like, I did mention before, I have, like, read through the manga, like, years and years ago, and I'm pretty sure I didn't even get through, like, all the chapters or whatever. So it's, like, kind of, like, this broken memory of it. But it's like, yeah, I remember there's, like, definitely some winners here. But yeah, I guess that'll be it then.
Yep.
Alright, so I guess I'll see you guys around next time.
See ya Friday.
Alright. Later. Wait, no, we're doing the Final Fantasy randomizer.
Later.